Hey girl, hey, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Misha. Thank you guys for joining me yet again for another review. We are back with a brand new Throwback Thursday, Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 7, Episode 10, Puerto Rico, Nene versus Claudia. Child, let's get into it if we gonna get into it. If you are new here, then welcome. I give lighthearted reviews with a little bit of laughter and a little bit of shade and a whole lot of detail. If you're back for a second or third time, then welcome back. Child, y'all share these Throwback Thursday reviews, honey, so they can catch on. Now let's get into it if we gonna get into it. When the episode first opens up, Claudia and Kenya, they go to the foot doctor to check on Claudia's feet, okay? Because them things needed some help. She said people think she's lying when she says that she's cute from the ankles up. Claudia got some hammer time going on and whatnot, and Kenya tells us that Demetria invited them all to an all-expense-paid trip to Puerto Rico. And when I was listening to this and watching it back, I felt like Demetria was trying too hard to fit in this season. Like, in the beginning, she was just doing a little bit too much to try to fit in. But once she got Phaedra all the way together, baby, she gathered Phaedra by that ponytail, and I was here for it. So they go into the office, right, to take a look at these treacherous feet. And Kenya gonna say, I thought her feet were a little mischievous, but they're disrespectful. Girl, not her feet a little mischievous. Oh, child, Kenya is a fool. So the doctor comes in and takes a look at her feet. And he's like, oh, okay, well, there's nothing wrong with that. I've seen feet like this before. It's fine. Kenya was like, well, you just touching her feet with no gloves on? He was like, oh, this nothing. He said a quick procedure and a boot for a few weeks and you're gonna be fine. But what I was trying to figure out is this. Claudia, why did you wait till now to fix these feet? Girl, you never been on a vacation until the show? Like, you should have been gotten these feet together. Baby, if I'm going on a vacation with a man, honey, you best believe I'm going to be good from head to toe. I don't care what that means, okay? We're going to get it together before we get into it. Girl, goodbye. So, of course, honey, no interaction with a man will be complete without Kenya flirting. Here she go. Doctor, so what about house calls? Do you make house calls? He was like, yeah, whatever it takes. Oh, okay, so you down for it. Okay, the doctor ready to risk it all. Okay, I see how this going. He said, oh, okay, well, yeah, everything looks fine. If you don't want to take care of it now, we can do it later. Okay, take care. So he getting ready to leave, right? Here go, Claudia. Wash your hands. He's like, oh, yeah, we got hand sanitizer everywhere. Doctor, we gonna need a good wash follow-up before you eat lunch, though, okay? Because these are feet. Ugh. These are feet. Okay. And all I could think of when Claudia was sitting there was, you got to go to work on Myra's feet. Shout out to Martin. Baby, I ain't going to never forget that episode. And that's exactly what this reminded me of. So he gets on up and exits stage left, honey. Hopefully he hits his hands with some hand sanitizer on the way out. But y'all know what I was thinking? It is so crazy to me that Claudia's storyline was her terrible feet. Child. When I tell you that Carlos Kane can make a story out of nothing, he gonna make something out of nothing if he don't do nothing else. Moving forward. In the next scene, Kandi wanted to go sit down with Demetria. Kandi said that she was going to meet with Demetria after the foolery at her party when Shay revealed that she was dating Roger Bob. Kandi comes in and she sits down. She meets with Demetria and honey, she gonna order her fish tacos. I don't know if it's just me that noticed, but every time Kandi goes to a restaurant and gets ready to get into it, she gonna order some fish tacos. When she went and got Kim together in that heavy wig she had on, she was ordering fish tacos. When she went over there to sit down with Phaedra for Phaedra to tell her, maybe I loved you more than I loved Apollo, she ordered fish tacos. That's just a side note. So Kandi was like, I just really want to apologize to her about Shay dropping that bomb because I feel like nobody should have to find out things like that. So Demetria said the thing was, it was just the way that it was presented to me. And I felt like, nobody should have been able to tell me anything about Roger Bob. Maybe y'all should get you a drink right now. Okay. And every time I say Roger Bob, take a sip. Hopefully y'all ain't drinking no adult beverages, honey, because y'all going to be loose as a goose. Don't get me started. Full of that liquor when I step off in the party. Baby, y'all going to be drunk when I finish. Because, baby, Demetria gonna say Roger Bob, Roger Bob, Roger Bob, if she don't say nothing else. Moving forward. So Kandi was like, well, you know what? I think you handled it well. And I'm glad because I ain't want y'all tearing up my house. So Demetria said, I really respect your home and I respect the fact that you're a mogul and you're a singer and you're a dancer and you're an entrepreneur. Honey, she was just laying it on thick, okay? So then she said, okay, so do you miss performing? And I knew something was coming then. She said, yeah, I do, but I only noticed it after I perform. I'm so wrapped up in all my other businesses. So Demetria goes, okay, are you ready for the plug? She said, what plug? She said, I want to work together. Kandi said, I vowed never to work with anybody else in this group. Yes, because Kim Wigg, Zodiac, Bierman, honey, she messed it up for everybody. Even though y'all eventually did that Boy's Mind type song with Demetria. You remember that song? How did it go? Unnecessary trouble. Unnecessary trouble. I don't know if you see what your dude is doing. Shout out to Kandi and Demetria. She did some unnecessary trouble over there with Demetria. Eventually, she wore her down. So she's like, you know what? We'll see. She said, well, I haven't heard Demetria sing, but I'm very excited to see her perform, and I'm excited to go to Puerto Rico with her. Now, Demetria can blow. I got to give it to her. And she a fellow Virgo as well. Shout out to all my Virgos. And she got a voice on her. She definitely has a voice on her. Moving forward. In the next scene, Kenya goes to meet with Cynthia at the Bailey agency so she can get some help with finding an assistant. So Carlton is there to help her. Y'all remember when he was on Love is Blind, when he revealed that he was bi and he called the girl a bitch? I ain't gonna never forget that. When I saw him, I immediately thought, look at one of the Bailey boys. Baby, I ain't gonna never forget that. And y'all remember he had got into it when he initially had seen Kenya, because this was Kenya's first time ever coming to the Bailey agency. This when Cynthia didn't wear her right wigs, child, and you could see all of her edges or like the child. And she was sitting there and they were trying to shoot somebody for Jet Magazine, and Kenya kept going, I can see your coochie crack, coochie crack, coochie crack. Y'all remember that? Oh, child. Housewives of Atlanta has given us some television gold. Baby, it was unmatched back in the day. Moving forward. So they're trying to help with this assistant and whatnot. And she's like, well, I want them to know that I'm thirsty. I want them to bring me food when I'm not even hungry. I want them to be sitting at the end of my bed when I wake up. Child, I was like, oh, Kenya. She wanted everything. So she starts running down this list. And so Cynthia was like, Michelle Obama need less help than Kenya. Honey, I don't know who need less help than Kenya, but I know Kenya had a list a mile long. And I still never saw her with an assistant. Now, I'm sure she does have help now because, she has Brooklyn and whatnot, and she's really out there doing it for herself. So I'm pretty sure that she has an assistant. But back then, child, Kenya, what did you need assisting with? Absolutely nothing. Moving forward. So Carlton excuses his messy self, and they start talking about how Nene flip-flopped on them when they saw her at Candy's party. So they were like, we were just cool, and then she just like flipped the switch. Kenya said, well, it's like when she gets around people, she becomes so nasty and so rude. Honey, and that's where Nene's tagline was born. So in her confessional, she said, I think Nene has a hard time watching people get past their differences because she can't do that. So Cynthia said, I looked at her and you know what I thought? I was just like, you are really mean. And you are having fun being mean. Nene was a flip-flopper this season. I ain't gonna lie to you, honey. She didn't know whether she was cool with Cynthia or not. She didn't know whether she was coming or going. But the real issue is that Cynthia became friends with Kenya and she ain't fooling me. Nene did not like that at all. As much as she tried to act like, I don't care who Cynthia friends with. You can be friends with whoever you want to be friends with. She did not like that Cynthia had found another tall. And then they found Claudia too, and she was a tall as well. Oh, baby, all hell broke loose. Moving forward. So Cynthia said, I don't know who's coming on the trip. I don't know if it's going to be Nene, Nene, flip-flopper Nene. All I know is I'm going to Puerto Rico and I'm going to have me a good time. Well, child, let's get into it if we're going to get into it. In the next scene, Nene calls Phaedra on the phone to get her ETA because they're going to meet up with Demetria at the studio. So when Cynthia and Nene fell out, the dynamics of the group totally changed. Like, I cannot believe Nene and Phaedra became so cool this season when Nene denied even knowing Phaedra. You remember that? You went to school with my oldest brother. I don't know you, Phaedra. Baby, I can quote Real Housewives of Atlanta all day. So they get to the studio where Demetria's dropping some beats. And Nene said, I'm just so used to hearing these girls sing nothing that it was pleasant hearing someone that can actually sing. Nene is shady boots. So Nene said, last time I saw you, I was mad at you. So Demetria said, why? She said, I just hated that you walked out. Like, I wanted you to get all the information. Like, girl, where, when, how did it happen? I wanted you to get that so you can go home and hit him over the head with it. Demetria ain't that type of girl. Like, she lives in denial, really. Roger Bob was out there in them Atlanta streets, but she wanted to hold on to him. So she's really not going to confront him like that. That's not Demetria's style. So she's like, people really think that I'm quiet, but I did ask him. And I said, do you know a lady named Shay? And he said, yeah, you remember, because he tried to tell me when we were on a break. Here go Phaedra. Child, not a break. I'm sorry, but that probably would have been me too. At that moment, I probably would have said, girl, not a break. Hey, that man is running game. Do y'all hear me? So Nene said, that's how guys are. This is what she said in her confessional. They be like, you remember when we was on a break and I went on over here and hollered at old girl? No, I don't. I know that's real, child. So Demetria said, if we weren't on a break, like I would be upset. Here go Phaedra. What is all this on a break? It's like children at the schoolhouse. Phaedra, stop it. Cut it out. Adults break up. Like me personally, I don't believe in breaks. If it's a break, it's broke. Okay? Do not come back over here. We're broken up. Like we're done. Like ain't no break, bitch. Ain't no break. But I hate how Phaedra was acting like she ain't never been on a break, or her and her boo ain't never broke up and gotten back together. Girl, your relationship is not perfect. Remember just a few episodes ago, it was Apollo, go away from me with this. Child, let's not forget. She said, no, we broke up twice. Well, Demetria, Gaucher said that y'all were all together at the same time, according to her turn of events. But honey, that's neither here nor there. So Nene said, well, I'm just going to say this. Don't ask him to marry you. Child, she better not. She said the dog chases the cat, so let him chase you. Now, Nene, this was some sound advice. Demetria, take that and put it in your pocket. Moving forward. So Phaedra starts asking, she's like, so what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Music? You doing acting? She said, I always wanted to be a singer. Singing was my first passion. She's like, well, why not when you were a young tulip? Demetria said, when I was a what? A young what? She's like, I'm 35. Child, not you age shaming her dreams. Girl, bye. She's like, well, at some point, you turn to gospel and folk music. Says who? She said, are you trying to be a pop star? She said, I'm trying to be me. So Phaedra said, okay, so what genre is me? Oh, baby. No, ma'am, honey. I would have sent them right on out and finished my session. Baby, Phaedra would not have been able to sit and play in my face. I would have escorted her in that ponytail right on up out of my face. So she's like, well, the music has always been first. And then it's like, like I did that song, I will trade it all. Phaedra said, oh, you don't trade it all for Roger Bob? She was like, no, I was saying, because she was saying, I'm saying that I was going to do that if he was willing to, give me his heart and marry me. Here go Phaedra. Well, girl, it's been 8 years. What is he waiting on? A liver transplant? She said, no, I just want him to know. She said, well, how long does it take him to know? Now, it's rude the way she's saying it, but the message is correct. Girl, it's been 8 years. Honey, piss or get off the pot. So she said, I've been okay for a while, but, I'm just itching for more. She said, Janine, the whole crackhead thing. Here go Nene. Oh, what's that? The fact that Demetria threw out her character, assuming that they knew that she played on Tyler Perry's House of Pain during this time, is sending me. Baby, that was hilarious to me. But speaking of this, child, it's just a side note. I used to love Tyler Perry's House of Pain when Janine was on there itching and scratching and whatnot. And they couldn't find her, and child, she used to be in them abandoned houses. Oh, I loved it. And also, let me just do a shameless plug right here. After this review, please check out my Tyler Perry sisters. Moving forward. That's just a side note. She said, no, that's the character I played on Tyler Perry's House of Pain. Here go Phaedra. Well, have you ever done crack? Phaedra. Now, I know Southern belles don't go around asking people if they've taken drugs. Like, we need Marlo's etiquette book, honey, because that was rude. She's like, no, I've never done that. Child, after that, she had to excuse herself. She said, excuse me, I have to go get the producers. Girl, bye Demetria, honey, because these heifers ran you hot. Moving forward. It's the day of the trip. They all getting there or whatever, and they ready to board the plane. So Kandi gets there first. Only Kandi, Portia, and Demetria are going right now. So Portia and her go naked hair, honey, they bossing the people around, asking them about the bags. Can you grab that, sir? Grab that bag for me. Here go Kandi. Why are you walking around in 10-inch heels in a dress that will show your ass if you bend over to get your luggage? Kandi, are you new, honey? She got to stay ready in case there's a wealthy man that she can fall in love with at the airport. Girl, goodbye. So they get on the plane. They're in the sky and they get in Puerto Rico. So they get off. They get on the transportation on the way to the hotel. So Kandi is giving, Demetria a little bit of advice about singing. She's like, never do a whole set with songs that people don't know. And Demetria was basically saying, I'm doing covers, girl. Easy breezy, beautiful cover girl. I'm going to sing 2 of my songs. The rest of them will be an ode to someone else. So Portia was like, is Roger Bob coming? She said, no, he's not coming. He has to do a premiere. Portia said, but he's your boyfriend. She said, yeah, but he's cutting these checks, so he has to work. So Portia was like, he would have to come for me because I would definitely start pouting. Kandi said, well, Portia is good at talking men into things. I'm sure did. Talked him into a whole baby and everything else. She's like, let her call him. Here go Portia. Yeah, let me call him. I get him here. If she call him, she gonna be dating him on one of y'all breaks, honey. I'm telling you that right now. Moving forward. So Demetria said, now what I need is one of those $80,000 bags. So Portia starts lying. Talking about, well, I'd rather have a good man than a good bag. Girl gone. So Kandi said, well, if you can, in her confessional, she said, if you can get a man to buy an $80,000 bag and he ain't your husband, child, you can teach some women some things. Well, allegedly, he was somebody else's husband. Moving forward. So they get to the hotel and the three amigas, Kenya, Cynthia, and Claudia, they're on the way there as well. So they're all on the bus, right? Calling the other ladies beast and Cynthia piping up, knowing good and well she ain't gonna bust a grape. And she knows she ain't about that life. So they go to the room, which is Kandi, Portia, and Demetria, and they go and they decide who gets the best room. So they flip a coin and Peach Juice wins the room with the terrorists. On the ride over there, they talking about how beautiful it is, but Kenya thinks some of the heifers need to be baptized in the water. So she's like, we need to dump some of their heads in the water and just hold it down there. So Cynthia was like, yeah, we can just hold it down and be like, are you nice? If you're not nice, we're going to keep you down there. I'm like, oh, girl, please. Baby, Cynthia having a ball free from Nene, ain't she? Knowing good and well, she gonna run right back over there as soon as Nene say they cool again. Moving forward. So upstairs with the other three ladies, they're talking about Demetria having been there before with Roger Bob, so she can't really show them around because she was holed up in the room the whole time. Charlie probably wasn't hearing no nothing. While they talking, the other ladies arrive downstairs to the boutique hotel to get their rooms. So Demetria is telling them, she's like, look, I like everybody, but I just can't really get a feel on Phaedra because she shaded me about the powder at the studio. So Kandi is like, she got all these little jokes and then be like, what? Wait, did I shade you? She was like, I don't think it was nothing serious. Like, don't even worry about that. Like, you have a show to worry about. You not feeling me, but feel me while I sing these songs. Honey, I know that's right. So Demetria goes downstairs to get the other ladies to show them their rooms. And she's like, I'm so glad y'all here. Y'all are the fun girls. So then you hear Kenya, yes, we are the fun girls. So you can hit her all the way back in Atlanta. I'm like, Kenya, calm down, child. Acting like you ain't never been nowhere. Meanwhile, Portia and Kandi can hear them having themselves a good time. Here go Portia. Well, I hope they keep on laughing. Kandi was like, I hope they laugh the whole trip. So she's telling them that she really feels like she's connected to them and she feels like everyone is cool except Phaedra. She is not feeling her. She told them that she came to the studio with Nene and she started talking about her relationship and testing her age and she was just coming for her. So Kenya was like, yeah, it really does take you a while to catch the shade of it all. She said, I felt some kind of way about that. Kenya said, well, I feel like I know her, a little bit better than everybody else. She will throw daggers. So if it bothers you, then you need to say something about it. And child, what'd she say that for? Moving forward. In the next scene, finally, Athens' finest, they show up, Nene and Phaedra. Why is Phaedra late to every trip? I noticed that every last one. The trip to Mexico, she was late. The trip to LA when they went to go meet Nene when Nene was becoming a star, she was late. Baby, Phaedra gonna show up on a late flight if she don't do nothing else. So they get on the bus because it's time for them to go to the hotel. And Phaedra was like, why do we have Portia's bag? Nene said, child, Portia got that go naked hair stuck to that head. She probably don't even know she missing a bag. Child, Portia is a ditz. Do y'all hear me? So Phaedra said, well, I wonder where she's going to be performing. Nene said, I wonder that as well. Do you think it will be in an arena or an amphitheater? Phaedra said, no, it may be in a ballroom. Here go Nene. Good night. Child, he's two. Oh, child, he's two. Phaedra, why are you hating on Demetria? Like she's done nothing to you. It's giving Kim Fields versus Kenya. It's giving Haterville. It's giving Haterville. So she's like, well, in her confessional, it seems like she's a ballroom type of girl. Now, when you tell me that you're at Madison Square Garden, hey, or singing back up for Mariah, ho, or coming behind Beyonce, then of course. Shut up, Phaedra. Anywho, moving forward. So they get to the hotel and instantly these heifers start with the shade. So Demetria is getting glammed for dinner, and she's about to walk them to their room, right? So Phaedra turns around and goes, "Are you the stylist?" He said, "Yes." She said, "Now this you're on point with." He said, "This? When was I not on point?" She said, "Now look, if I don't want to say nothing nice, I ain't going to say nothing. But I'm telling you that this is on point." He said, "Okay, I like your bag." She said, "Yeah, Furla Collector's Edition." Then Phaedra going to say, "If Demetria wants a glam squad just to go downstairs and eat a baguette, then it's fine with me. Be fabulous, honey." Phaedra was the epitome of misery loves company this season. Apollo leaving and she picking on Demetria, taking it out on her. It was so unbecoming. So when she leaves, he said, "Ugh, she is so late, old, and dry." So they get to their rooms, right? And here go Nene. "Okay, it's nice and small, but I can make do." "Did you pay for it? Did you pay for anything? You didn't? Oh, okay. When you pay, you have a say in where you stay. And I just made that up, honey. If not, lay your finger waves down in that standard bed and go night-night. Girl, goodbye." So these two were getting on my nerves. The whole entire part one of this debacle, they were getting on my nerves. But Claudia got the girls together. Moving forward. So they go take Portia this gold naked hair, honey, in this bag. And Nene said, "This bag is expensive. The Africans have laced her with designers. Baby, they be buying houses and cars with fake money, child." Shout out to Simon. So they shade in the room and whatnot. And once they get done with that, Nene said, "I see Demetria has her glam team." Phaedra said, "Yeah. And she looks good, but I guess her stylist was offended by what I said." So Portia said, "What did you say? Because I heard that you've been shading her, or she took some things that you said the wrong way." She said, "All I said was, you got this right." Phaedra, that is shade. Nene said, "Yeah, and he caught that shade too, honey. Went into a pose and everything. When have I not gotten it right?" So after they get through shading Demetria, it's time for dinner. So the girls get to the table. It's Cynthia, Demetria, and Kenya, and Claudia. So they get there first. They do a quick toast. They thanking Demetria for inviting them out and paying, honey, and footing the bill and whatnot. So Miss Go Naked, Nene, and Phaedra, they come down. Kenya, and then here come Kandi. Nobody is saying anything to Demetria. So Kenya said, "Nobody is giving Demetria any compliments. They're barely even recognizing that she brought them there. These are the facts. It's giving ungrateful." Okay, they could have at least said thank you for inviting us or something. They could have said something. So this dinner is getting awkward AF. So Nene said in her confessional, "The girls don't look friendly. They're all sitting and smizing, drinking champagne, and it seems that Kenya has her puppets in check." So then here go Nene. "Can I give you a little recipe? Can I get some Prosecco with a splash of Saint Germain with a squeeze of lemon?" He was like, "Yeah." So Phaedra was like, "I'll have the same thing." So Portia said, "I'll have the same thing as well." Here go Kenya. "What's next? Blonde toupees for you all?" Baby, Nene had Marshawn's finest on that head. Do you hear me? Baby, chicken flavored. So Kenya said, "So the performance is in 2 days." She talking to Demetria. She said, "Yeah, I got to do sound checks tomorrow. I got to do this, that, and the third." So Phaedra was like, "All right, honey. Yes, please." I guess she was trying to say that she needed a sound check. Girl, you didn't even hear the woman sing. Just sit back. So Demetria kind of looked at her. And Nene in the confessional said, "Phaedra, is that shade?" "Absolutely, it's shade." So Demetria said, "Phaedra, there's been a couple of moments that I felt away, but I haven't necessarily spoke about it." Here go Portia. "Are we starting the dinner off with negativity?" "Shut up, Portia. Apparently it's Bravo's way. Remember Mexico?" "Okay." She said, "Yes, I have to get this out. Honey, pay peach juice no mind. Okay, carry on." So she said, "I just want to make sure that if it is shade, I address it." So Phaedra over there like, "Oh, Lord, here she goes." Child, she rolling her eyes, right? She said, "At the studio, you asked if I smoked." Phaedra said, "Well, you said you played one of them on TV, so I just wanted to know if you did it." She's like, "A lot of people have played roles and they've also done it. But do you think that was shade?" She's like, "I thought it was shady. And also the part about my age, that was whack." She said, "I said a woman of a particular age cannot be a pop star." Demetria said, "Boom. I'm younger than you are." And I, oop. Baby, Phaedra said, Clearly someone has been in her ear, because any secure woman would appreciate the honesty. Phaedra, no ma'am, it was rude. And since when do you make the rules for the music industry? If I want to play the banjo at 16, I'm going to play the banjo. So she goes, what I was saying is you're closer to 40 than to 20, correct? I'm just being honest. Demetria said, but I did not want your opinion at that point. And then you went in on my relationship. So Phaedra said, you don't want to bring up your relationship every 5 minutes. I could care less. Demetria did say Roger Bob about 50 times. I ain't gonna lie. Child, I was so tired of hearing Roger Bob, Roger Bob. I got it. She's like, well, then why talk about it if you don't want it a topic of discussion? Demetria said, do you really want to do that? She said, no, I'm not talking about mine. I'm talking about yours. Demetria said, honey, you don't want to do that. Don't do that. Phaedra said, no, don't you do that. Demetria said, all I'm saying is this. The only thing we have in common right now is the number 8. Yours is going and mine has been here for 8. Ah, well, damn. Honey, but don't forget the breaks and go Shay. Okay, but I digress. I'm just saying, it wasn't the full 8. Baby, Phaedra was too stunned to speak. Child, she didn't say nothing. She shut her all the way down. So Cynthia said in her confessional, you know, Phaedra should be the last person throwing shade. Touche, Cynthia, touche. Moving forward. After Phaedra composed herself, she said, has he? Because that's not what they're saying. Demetria said, it's about to be the same situation for you. Phaedra said, no, I have a ring. You the one running around talking about, I want Roger Bob. I want Roger Bob. What Kim say in that auto-tune? The ring didn't mean a thing. Wow, wow. Phaedra, that ring don't mean absolutely nothing, honey. It's still a fool. So Nene looks at Claudia and she's like, how you doing, Claudia, honey? Because the mess is getting started over there. So Claudia was like, I need some more champagne. So Kenya said, well, you can have some of mine. Nene said, let me get you your own glass because that one has lips all over it. Honey, agreed. I'm not drinking off the nobody. So Phaedra and Demetria, honey, they still fussing. And Nene gives Phaedra a high five because, honey, the fussorization is really getting into action. And that set Claudia and her folded bob off. So Portia starts laughing and Claudia said, Nene has the George Washington wig, but she's acting like a high schooler. She is one of the founding fathers of shadiness. Child, not the first president's wig. Child, not his wig. So Demetria said, you can't throw fictions when your facts are so messed up. Phaedra said, my facts are messed up that you are probably more suited to be a gospel or a folk singer. So then Nene looks at Kandi and she goes, well, I want to get on the iTunes. I want to live my dreams. So they all started laughing in Demetria's face after she's the one that brought these heifers here, right? So Cynthia in her confessional, she goes, you know, in this group, it's no advantage to holding your tongue, and I should know that better than anybody. So then Cynthia pipes up and starts speaking her speech. Cynthia said, Phaedra, what she's trying to say is, if you didn't mean it like that, then you can just simply say sorry. Everybody knows what shade is. Nobody's imagining somebody is coming for them and they not coming for them. They know what shade is. So you should just apologize. So then Nene chimes in. Why would people apologize if they don't think that they did anything wrong? So then Cynthia said, well, if you don't feel like you did nothing wrong, then you can just say, sorry, I made you feel this way. But she's not sorry though, Cynthia. She's not sorry. So Nene said, okay, clearly y'all at this end of the table, y'all on the same page. Cynthia said, and clearly y'all on that end of the table, y'all on the same page. Here go Nene. No, we are not. Right is right and wrong is wrong. Nene always thinks that everybody is on a team. It was the talls versus the smalls. It was Kenya versus her. Like, it's too much. Everybody's just living and going and doing, Nene. It's not always about teams. So then Cynthia piped up again. Nene said, you weren't there. Cynthia said, well, I'm listening to the conversation just like everybody else. Nene said, why are you talking to Phaedra? Talk to Demetria or talk to them both. You were not there. The only person that was there was me, Phaedra, and Demetria. We were there, so none of you guys are privy to what's going on. In the confessional, Nene said, I'm so happy that Cynthia found her backbone, but bring it down about 10 notches because you look absolutely ridiculous. So Phaedra was like, I'm sorry, girl. I want you to be happy. I want you to be a pop star. Ooh, child, please don't invite me nowhere else. Ooh, honey, I'm sure she won't. And nobody else, because that is rude as hell. So Kandi said, Phaedra, were you throwing shade? Phaedra said, girl, I ain't worried about this girl. I could kill this. I don't even know this girl. So Nene said, well, Kandi, won't you search around Puerto Rico to see if there's a studio we could drop some beats? That is one of my favorite lines of all times. I swear I say that randomly at least 3 times a day. Honey, don't nobody even be talking to me about no singing or nothing else. I always say it. That is so funny to me because it makes absolutely no sense. So Claudia said in her confessional, people are some assholes, rude, just disrespectful. Claudia said, do y'all care about resolving the issue? Because clearly she has an issue. Nene said, ask Ricky Smiley. Claudia said, Ricky Smiley, Nene, has nothing to do with this. This is what I'm saying. This was the most absurd argument I have ever heard. This is when shade was lighthearted and it was so funny and it was ridiculous and it was random. Oh, child, I loved it. Claudia's like, y'all just so immature and it's just funny. I mean, she's putting it all out on the table like a mature woman instead of being a catty bitch. Nene said, look, Claudia, this was she saying in her confessional. You want to be the it girl, but you ain't got it. You got the I, but you are definitely missing the T, boo. Proceed with caution. Honey, we shall see. So Nene said, oh, okay, so you have your own brain. Claudia said, why wouldn't I? Nene stopped. She said, just making sure you do. Like, I know you have someone over there getting you together, telling you when to speak, when to drink, when to laugh. Claudia said, from the woman who's the puppet master. Nene said, puppet master? Me? Claudia said, just because I'm being quiet, this is what she's saying in her confessional, doesn't mean I don't have that fire inside of me to get you all the way together. She said, bitch, I ain't no puppet master, and you about to find out. Ooh, child, well, let's get into it if we go get into it. Baby, the climatic music, the reads, this scene was everything. So, child, let's get into it. So Nene said, I'm a puppet master on these jobs. Claudia said, what jobs? The one that got canceled? She said, these checks didn't get canceled. You wish you had the amount of money I had in my bank account. Claudia said, I've been working 17 years. I've been working. I pay my own bills. I don't have to get on a pole. What did Phaedra say to Kenya? That's old news, slut. Please move on. So Nene said, you filed for bankruptcy. She said, I've never been arrested. She said, I was arrested in my 20s and I went to college. Claudia said, you went to college? Nene said, yes, I'm very college educated. Claudia said, spell bridesmaids. The S is not silent, honey. I hate how Nene says bridemaid. Like, she gonna leave them S's off. I couldn't even really fully get into her wedding special because she kept saying, oh, my bridemaid, oh, my bridemaid. I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh, child, where's the red pen when I need it? Moving forward. She said, but let's go back to when I was a stripper. Okay, let's go back to the stripper thing. I was, and I liked it. Claudia said, what club was that at? Child club such and such. Nene said, that was 20 years ago. I'm in my 40s. And you in your 40s too. She said, I am, but we're 20 years apart at least. She said, no, we are not 20 years apart. Claudia said, when you were my age, you had edges. Oh, child, baby, she is assassinating Nene. Do you hear me? Here go Candy. I have to be honest. Claudia is reading Nene like hooked on phonics. Baby, yes, she is. Nene said, okay, girl, bye. Claudia said, bye. Are you leaving? She said, I know you want to argue with the queen. She said, no, you started with me. She said, no, I didn't start with you. You started with me. Nene said, girl, you been struggling. Claudia said, okay, you're rich. She said, yes, I am rich. Claudia said, and that's the hair you chose to buy? Nene said, this is the hair I chose to buy. Claudia said, and what is that? It's like ramen noodles on top of her head. So then Claudia said, well, money can't buy you class. Well, Luann told us that. Shout out to Countess Luann. So Nene started grasping for straws at this point, child. She's like, well, money couldn't buy you a new... See, could it? They done wore that out. I remember thinking when I saw this scene and when I heard Nene say that was one of the worst reads in reality TV history because it made absolutely no sense. It didn't make any sense. So Portia goes in her confessional, excuse me, Nene has left the building. I usher in Nene. Moving forward. She said, are you jealous? Claudia said, jealous of what? Nene in her confessional said, I may have slid down a pole or two to take care of my child, but I ain't sliding down all these men's dick. She said, who would F you? She said, my husband. Claudia said, the things that you have, I don't want. Car, bags, shoes, a professional slave by the name of Greg Leaks. Okay, leave Greg out of it, Claudia. Rest in peace, Greg. Y'all leave Greg out of it. So then Nene got ignorant. She was like, yeah, this half-breed that you got, they ain't looking for that in Atlanta. Claudia said, oh, you don't like half-breeds? Nene said, you're a whore. Your clit has left your body. Oh, child. And scene. And baby, it's gonna get ignorant on part 2. But guess what? Y'all gotta come back next Thursday. That's how I keep y'all coming back. Y'all gonna get into it with me as we get into it if y'all don't do nothing else. So come on back next Thursday so we can get into it as we get into it. Because this is the funniest part. Part 2 is really the funniest part to me. Because that's after Claudia got Nene all the way together. And then she was sitting in front of Kandi. And Kandi said, what's wrong with the bob? And Nene said, something. Child, that is hilarious to me, and I cannot wait to get into that part. Child, y'all comment down below and tell me exactly what you liked about this episode. Come back next Thursday so that we can continue to get into the Throwback Thursday of it all. Next up is Tyler Perry's Sisters. And as always, stay safe, stay blessed, spread love, not germs. Peace.